Hello, everybody, and welcome into this presentation. So, the aim of this webinar will be to look at 2025. 2025 and you. That's indeed a year of endless possibilities because so many planets will change sign. That's really unusual. And so, what is in between this 2025 year where we can place ourselves in the right spots in order to maximize our benefits in the energies of this year, to place ourselves in a way that we receive those influences in a good way. So let's jump directly into the presentation. So, welcome in 2025. That's gonna be a little bit dualistic with all that we see happening now in the world and with those changes, all the planets, especially the slow planets that will change sign, is really shifting from one energy to another. And so, we observe that when a planet reaches the end of the sign in which it has transited years and years, all that happens start to get more and more intense, more and more tense, and it is very usual that things somehow precipitate. So in the world now, we can see that effect, and it's going to become more and more important in the month to come and throughout 2025 before those planets really settle in the following signs. This time is quite a turbulent one, and we will delineate the periods in which we can use that and the others where it might be quite important to back off and ensure that we're not caught in the middle of this possible tornado. It's like the yin and the yang, the strong energy and the more receptive one that will be activated. A lot of fire and water element are going to be involved. So water and fire are quite strong elements, and the mix of those is sometimes quite strong and brings symbolic that's a bit like a hurricane, or a big explosion. That's all those energies that are here when we mix the energy of fire and water. So it's going to be quite like that during this year. It's a bit like a geyser, when there is this water getting out of the earth with tremendous force. So it's a little bit the approach for the year to come. So 2025. First, let's have a look to the chart of 2025, which is cast for the first day and first hour of the year, midnight UTC. And that is the chart that is found. In astrology, we can cast charts for many different things. That's about looking at when something does start. And here, each year, we can foresee some important energies of the year by casting the chart of the year. It works, by the way, also for questions. If you suddenly, wake up one morning and you have a burning question that comes into your mind, you can write down the time at which this occurs, the place where you are, and you can cast a chart. That's what we call horary astrology. So anytime something starts, whether it's very concrete or it's more subtle, like an idea or a question, a chart will apply. And here, the chart of 2025 is looking like that. So we will have a look to some aspect. The idea is not to get into the complete interpretation of this chart. We will try in today's presentation to give a good overview to provide an understanding of how the year is going to evolve and what we can do and how we can place ourselves. And so the very tight aspects. are most of the time the one that will have the strongest influence. You can see that in your own birth chart. If you look at the planets that are the most close to the perfect aspect. So if they're opposed, they must be, opposed like 180 degrees. That's the precise opposition. So the closer it is from this opposition, this precise aspect, the more intense it becomes. And here there are a few aspects that are extremely strong. Those are the ones that are here. Pluto is opposed to Mars. That's a very tight aspect, 1 degree for the two planets. We will just delineate them in the color that is more appropriate because that's an opposition. The two planets face each other, and this is bringing a lot of tension. We have seen that recently with lots of increase of the tension that happened in the world, especially the escalation of wars and global conflicts, and that is very well symbolized by this opposition. Pluto is the lord of hell. That's the power. That's also partly, at least, the nuclear energy. And Mars is the lord of war. So when they just are staring badly at each other, things get quite tensed. As this aspect symbolizes the full, and whole 2025, because it's in the chart of 2025, it is very likely that we're going to see those situations continue. That's the underlying tension and energy that is there. You can also, because the year is not only for collectivities, it's also for you personally. And the idea of this presentation is to be more on the individual side than on the purely collective. So this opposition here represents the conflicts that you might face now in your life. It can be in an area, in another. It's not going to be the same for everyone, of course. We are here looking at the global energy. And it's a little bit like if that